check.
into the topics.
We do. God, this has been a fucking tragedy. Welcome to Take 7.
So easy last time.
Welcome to Take 7. This is Twinkle Twinkle Little Gentleman. I had a cappuccino right before this. I'm doing great.
Leaning on. We're all getting hotboxed in a car. We don't smoke, but we're all in a car, and we are breathing excessively doing these multiple takes.
It is pretty hot in here. I'm Liam.
I'm Paul.
I'm Samas.
I'm David.
Get fucking somewhere near the mic. Jesus Christ.
You are feet away.
Tomas, please get close to the mic.
David, that was you. Ooh, I'm David. I recline with my legs all out and about.
And here we go with the physical bits already.
It's for they can visualize it at home.
Alright, so every attempt's been a train wreck so far, so I say it's topic time. Paul, got any topics?
Yeah, so, last night I remembered something.
That's cool.
I remembered something once as well.
I haven't.
I'm sorry,
Paul,
Paul.
keep going, please.
So, I remembered my freshman year. It was a Friday night, so I was sitting in my dorm alone. And it was 2 a.m. I was just listening to a podcast. And my roommate walks in with a girl to our very small room. And he goes, "Oh, you're awake. I didn't expect that." And then they just lay in his bed while I'm sitting there with the lights on. And then as soon as I hit the lights, they start fucking. And, so I wasn't asleep yet. So I just had to lay, perfectly still. Because I was like, well, I don't want to, have them know that I'm still awake.
Well, no, you don't understand. You can't see them because the lights are off.
Well, how do you know they were fucking?
Yeah, the lights were off. How could you possibly have known? There's literally no indication otherwise.
Heard some noises. Got spooked.
What noises? Can you replicate them
Can
for
you be
us?
sure it wasn't a passing horse neighing by as it traveled through the hallway?
I cannot be sure of that. Do any of you have any awkward stories, awkward encounters?
I mean, as far as also just a somewhat awkward, a little bit of a difficult time, also vaguely sexual.
Ooh.
So the first time I got hickeys was in freshman year of high school, the night before church. And I used to be in my church choir. One of the duties that I fulfilled was singing in front of the entire congregation. So I thought that I was in the clear because the collar of my shirt was particularly high. However, the button on my buttoned-up shirt had come loose prior to me getting before the congregation. And at the end of service, my mom sort of pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, what you got going on there?" And I look down and feel around my collar to see that I am unbuttoned. And I check in the bathroom moments later, and sure as hell, neck purple for all the world to see. And my spine shriveled up and left my body at the speed of sound.
God saw that.
God saw it. It was in his house.
You had a hickey at his home.
I walked through the door.
Honestly, I think it's worse knowing that your mom saw it. Knowing that your parents are looking, they're like, "What the fuck?" It's church. You know? Because not even oh my gosh, my kid is starting to, do these things now. But now it's oh, it's affecting everything. It's like those horrible, anti-smoking ads of, you do one cigarette and you're like, "Oh god, my grades are failing and I have no friends." You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of how it feels of, as a parent, because I'm obviously a dad. And
Well, you're a daddy.
Nope. Don't go with that name.
I don't know, if we're following the trend of making fun of your physical appearance. Nice dad bod, idiot.
Hey, I'm just
Pussy.
saying. That's the...
Pussy.
It's funny to call Tomas daddy because of, how he looks.
Speaking of pussy, I love to get off topic on this train. Garfield Tale of Two Kitties. Speaking of embarrassing roller coasters... I think the momentum of Garfield being in a prince in a castle, that's crazy. Never would have thought that. Then British Garfield gotta go kick Odie? That's so embarrassing.
You know, you don't have to filibuster a podcast, right?
And if you do, you really should be closer to the mic when you do it.
I'm fucking a foot away.
That's less than... Fuck, that's more than the rest of us.
Okay.
One of the classifying characteristics of the previous takes was Tomas bringing up Tale of Two Kitties. And so he thought, man, Tale of Two Kitties bit, too good to lose. Gotta work around to it.
Yep.
Almost as good as Snowmen.
Guys, welcome to Lost episode number 4.
Oh my god. Well, I have a semi-embarrassing story. So when I'm having food with my friends...
Doubt
Sure.
it.
Dude, you said you wouldn't be fucking mean to me this episode. You said you weren't going to be mean to me, right? I can cut this. Like, can you just take it easy?
Yeah, sorry.
All right, thanks. All right, I'll cut that. All right, so what ended up happening was a friend of mine said something along with, oh, I tried out this new food the other day. And I responded with, oh yeah, my wife's boyfriend made that for us once.
My wife.
You piece of fucking shit.
Speaking
It
of things
shouldn't
from
still work.
lost
It's
episodes.
not your turn to speak.
The fuck? You stopped talking,
I took a natural pause.
and I grasped at the natural pause. It's
Can we
all-
veto Tomas's ability to speak?
Jesus Christ. Yes, leave the car. God. So... And, well, the punchline there, before I was interrupted, because, you know, it's great to just resume a joke right at the punchline with
I know.
zero build-up,
I know.
was that not a soul laughed, and they all stared at me blankly for a good portion of time.
Like right now?
I'm waiting for David to get off his phone. Another physical bit.
No one would know. You've ruined a take.
Good.
So much of that's getting cut. Holy shit.
Just redo
We were
it.
doing so well.
No, we did. We had.
You ruined this shit!
I ruined this show. Are you
Repeatedly.
fucking kidding me?
You were talking about Tale of Two Kitties in multiple takes now.
Because the bits were fucking stupid, and I knew the Tale of Two Kitties was worse.
talking. It was just a discussion.
It was. I brought it
I'm
up.
keeping a lot of this in because you deserve to be openly berated.
I deserve.
No,
to be
it sounds so
overrated.
much better when it's recorded. You can't do this. You'll sound so much better in the recording. Our fans will come for our throats for being so mean to Tomas.
I'll cut out most of our meme things.
No, you won't.
You never do.
No, you fucking won't.
It's happening again. We're ruining the friendship again.
So Tomas, you got any embarrassing stories?
No.
Paul, get off your phone. I thought we were doing a podcast here. You gonna take it seriously from now on?
I'm not gonna
What?
lie.
I couldn't hear you.
Has anyone seen any good movies recently?
No, but I have seen a movie recently. Actually, yes, I did see a good movie recently. I saw Knives Out. Directed by Ryan Johnson. Speaking of, I saw a bad movie before that. A film not directed by Ryan Johnson, but related to it through familial ties. Familial ties that weren't there in the first place and not really supported metatextually. Rise of Skywalker. So, I just sort of want to say, we are living through a major cultural touchstone. The, hopefully, trinity of trilogies of the Star Wars saga has wrapped up. 3 of 3. Nice and neat and clean. What do you guys think of the sequel trilogy as a cohesive story.
You know, I'm telling this story like secondhand, but I think it was Nickelback that David Bowie was collaborating with on one of their songs, and they played what they had for him, and his response was just, "Not very good song now, is it?" Now, I feel like that somewhat applies to the sequel trilogy. Not very good movies, are they?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Force Awakens when I sat down and watched it. I thought that that movie was very fun, mostly because I like the movie A New Hope, and that's what Force Awakens is.
That's a spicy take, David. Never heard that one.
I'm one of those people who very much actually likes The Last Jedi. I think that it's the only one in the trilogy that actually says anything or has any sort of meat and potatoes to it.
I agree that it is the best movie of the trilogy, but it is also my least favorite, which is a hot take. Also not, but like it had the most Marvel movie style humor in it.
I disagree. Rise of Skywalker, I feel like, has way
I feel like
more
you
of
can
that.
ignore it in Rise of Skywalker. Like, it's subtle. Like, it's just short enough. Like the Hux thing in the beginning where he's like,
Yeah,
talk
the
to your
Yo
mother.
Mama joke is a lot.
Like, every time it happens in Rise of Skywalker, you could make a cut of that movie where you just clip off, like, the end of a couple scenes and it would remove the Marvel humor.
I feel like Rise of Skywalker moves at a breakneck pace.
Oh, it's a
and
it's a terrible
not
movie.
Moving to anything. I don't know. Is it hard to make a Star Wars movie? Because I kind of feel like it shouldn't be. I mean, The Mandalorian came out this year, and I don't know, it's a very different kind of story than the kind of thing that the Star Wars movies do, but I feel like pretty universally people love The Mandalorian.
I'm not sure if The Mandalorian is good or if it's just cool.
No, I think that Mandalorian is good. I think that the writing is legitimately, like, good. I think that it is cool, and that makes up for some, like, pacing stuff because it slows down pretty bad in the middle. But I also think that that's a purposeful choice based on the kind of show that it is.
I think the biggest issue with Star Wars, especially if you were to compare it to Marvel, is that Star Wars just didn't have a plan when they made the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, that blows my mind that they went into this without a plan of what the story was going to be. That they just sort of thought that they could wing it.
Yeah, like, especially off the back of Marvel, which was very meticulously planned.
Yeah.
They had every step of the way, like, set up for, and then they were like, I don't fucking... What if you just wrote the first one, and then the third one, but not the second one?
Yeah. And then...
And don't talk to the people who were writing the second one about it.
That's not allowed.
Right. I think Colin Trevorrow, who directed Jurassic World and produced Jurassic World 2, was supposed to direct Rise of Skywalker, but they fired him and brought back JJ when all of the incels got mad about Last Jedi.
The gentleman got mad
When the
about
gentleman got mad about The Last Jedi. Which, I don't know. People get super mad at Rian Johnson about Last Jedi. I think that people should get way more mad about J.J. Abrams and how he handled his Star Wars movies.
We can get mad at both of them. Like, I have enough time in the day to write angry things about both of them. I can send 2 death threats.
I feel like we got a first movie and a third movie in a trilogy. But the third movie tried to shove the second movie into the third movie and tried to ignore the second movie in the trilogy. Because there was a second movie, and it didn't go in the same direction that the third movie went. It wasn't a bridge between the two. It was something that happened, but there wasn't like it didn't feel cohesive at all.
Right, which is why it's wild to me that so much of Rise of Skywalker seems to be reactionary to Last Jedi. Like, it feels like I'm watching two directors have beef with each other live on screen.
Absolutely.
Because you are.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if J.J. Abrams did the first and the third, it's like, well, this lack of a plan that I'm gonna still believe I had a plan, is kind of tainted in the middle. It went in a direction I didn't want it to go, and they try to do something interesting with it. I agree with David, kind of what he said earlier about, it had more meat and potatoes. It had a little more direction, and it kind of also made subtle call outs to Abrams, like Snoke, for example. When they just kind of,
The pickle jar?
well, that in Rise of Skywalker, but even just in Last Jedi, just killing him off so fast. I'm like, this character's fucking stupid, and he's not really important. And then Abrams going, but it's all part of this grand scheme of I'm gonna just take everything and just kind of wrap it into one kind of a bow, and it's almost like you have a puzzle, and like with Marvel, like they complete the puzzle and they know all the pieces they have. This is like when you get a used puzzle, and about 50 of the 150 pieces are just missing. And you're just kind of guessing and checking and trying to make it look interesting.
I will say, for how bad of a movie the movie is, I had a delightful time watching it.
Oh, yeah, no, I had lots of fun. I definitely had things that I enjoyed a lot. I felt like the scene between Han Solo and Ben Solo was very sweet, and actually rather well written. Hey, do you guys know who wrote this movie? Like, what other movies he wrote?
No.
Batman vs. Superman and Justice League.
Oh.
Man, they really got a hard hitter for this one.
Yeah, they really decided to get the guy behind the man that single-handedly sunk the DC cinematic universe.
All Star Wars did was fuck up with their, like, they thought they were so set.
Yeah.
They did. And they were.
That's true. And then everyone else was like, because like, they
Yeah.
got the Game of Thrones guys, and then everyone hated the last season. They're like, oh fuck, oh shit, oh they're supposed to be making like 10 movies for us. Oh no.
Yeah.
They had like...
The history of who Disney has fired over the course of their Star Wars movies is wild.
I mean, Rian Johnson.
Yeah, Rian Johnson, the directors of Into the Spider-Verse and Lego Movie were supposed to direct Solo, and were fired after shooting almost the movie in its entirety, and they brought on a guy that had to reshoot about 70% of the movie.
What?
Which is why it made back almost no money.
Right.
I liked
Colin
it.
Trevorrow was fired. Like Paul just said, what are their names? D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah, got fired.
It's weird that Disney, which is, it owns Star Wars, right? And it owns Marvel, and it owns all these different companies. Why wouldn't you get a different Marvel writer? I get, they don't want the same kind of Marvel cliches, because sometimes they are kind of played out. But going with DC's writers, especially knowing the backlash and knowing their competition, it just kind of feels strange having that weird influence of, well, Marvel's kind of doing its thing. I don't want to really get any of them involved, even though Marvel is also writing every comic book that we're going to try to reference as well. It just kind of seems a little out of place.
I just wish that everything that was being made wasn't a reaction to a post that clearly someone in the industry read online about another movie that was made. Like, I wish that so much of Rise of Skywalker wasn't about the backlash of Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, I kind of wish that Last Jedi wasn't so much all about the fact that Star Wars is such a big thing. Like, Last Jedi kind of deconstructs a lot of stuff, which is really, really cool. But I kind of wish that it did that in a way that it just sort of wasn't blatantly stating things and being like, whack that's how that is, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, even like with interviews with the different actors saying like Poe's actor, I can't remember his name, but he was on different interviews saying, my character was put in, but they didn't know what to do with me. They didn't really know how to put me in Rise of Skywalker or Last Jedi. They just kind of put me in to have me in the first one to just say, here's a new cast of characters that we're going to work with.
I will say, Rise of Skywalker is the first time I felt that Poe was a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a character in the first scene of Force Awakens, and then he lives in an X-Wing for the rest of that movie. In Last Jedi,
I don't feel like he makes decisions that a human would make in Last Jedi.
No, he doesn't really. He kind of just yells at his commanding officer, his goddamn admiral, for over the course of the movie because she won't take the time to spell out her plan to an individual fighter pilot.
I mean, it was implied at the beginning that he was second in charge, though, right? And then he got in trouble for...
It's implied that Leia is trying to line him up to take over when she's gone.
Yeah, so, I feel like to say it's just an individual fighter pilot that she wouldn't explain it to is more like...
But Holdo has never met Poe before.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
I still feel like it makes some sense, though, in the context to have, I don't know, the whole not explaining the plan didn't really make sense to me.
I'm fine with it just because, I really can't see, this admiral who's never met this guy taking time out of, talking to Leia and Akbar, trying to save the final 300 people of the Resistance to, pull out the whiteboard, go step by step with Lil Poe about how to save the Resistance.
I don't mean specifically him. I mean, just the whole... Nobody knew what the fuck was going on. It was all right, guys, I'm gonna save the Resistance. And they're like, how? And she's like, I'm not gonna tell you.
Well, the people that needed to know, the people that were part of the plan knew.
Well, yeah, and that led to a mutiny because no one knew. So oh well, we're fucked. If people are like, hey guys, we're fucked, and it's like, well, yeah, we are because we said what's happening. And they said you'll see.
But imagine if the U.S. went to war, and if while they were going overseas, they mutinied because they didn't have every detail of the plan for the rest of the war.
Where are we going? You'll see.
They knew where they were going.
It's
away.
They imagine
the opposite direction of the First Order.
So say that it's D-Day. So they know that they're storming Normandy. They know the goal, but they mutiny because they don't know the exact route and boat that they're going on just yet.
Well, it's more like the plan is to get Germany, get in the boat we're going. It's where are we going?
I feel like that's honestly a little bit reasonable to expect of your just general troops.
I think it's reasonable to expect a mutiny if you do that.
I think the whole it would be so easy to say, all right, we're going to evade the First Order for as long as we can, so then we can provide cover for escape ships going to an old rebel base. Everyone just man your posts. That's all she had to say. And then the plan works because they don't go to Canto Bight, and it doesn't end up having the whole side plot where they get the...
I just feel like in a movie I just feel like it's a wild thing to expect her to have to explain something like that. I just really feel like you shouldn't have to... in the earlier Star Wars movies, Mon Mothma really doesn't go into detail with Luke and Leia. Mon Mothma in fucking Return of the Jedi literally says, "We're going to Endor. We'll tell you the rest when we are in the forest."
Also, Mon Mothma isn't a fucking character.
Mon Mothma is Mon Mothma is more of a character than I think a lot of other people. Mon Mothma is more of a character than Boba Fett.
Well, yeah, but this isn't the question of, did Boba Fett explain his plans well enough to Vader? Holdo was just a regular character.
But they have the same position. and they are making the same decisions.
But we saw all those clips of just like the briefings of everyone. We didn't get the whole fucking briefing because that would be boring. But it makes sense to tell the plans of the mission.
They both got briefings of roughly the same amount. We are going to a place. We're doing our job. Please do your job.
What was his job, I guess? What was he supposed to be doing while he was just fucking around waiting for, like...
Poe's job was to probably do maintenance on his X-Wing while we fly the ships this way and get to, what's the salt planet?
I don't remember.
Until we get to the salt zone.
That's where we are right now, buddy.
All right, so in order to wrap up our Star Wars holiday special, I think I've said this to Liam already, but I have a metaphor about Thanksgiving in order to explain how I feel about the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
So imagine it's Thanksgiving dinner.
Mm.
You are waiting for dinner to arrive, and you have invited your family, in this case the directors of the sequel trilogy, over for Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay.
JJ shows up first. He knows how much you enjoyed turkey on like your first Thanksgiving. He so much so that he made sure to get the same brand. He used the same spices. He cooked it for the same amount of time down to the millisecond. And he served you that turkey. And man, it sure was good to have that turkey again. So you finish the turkey. Then Ryan Johnson knocks on the door. And he has broccoli casserole. I don't like broccoli casserole that much, but man, after having nothing but turkey for so long, I feel like broccoli casserole, despite not being that tasty, is kind of a good switch up. Again, not what I asked for, not even what I would have chose, but it's good to have something a little out of the box.
And he baked it well.
He did bake it well.
It was a very good-looking broccoli casserole.
However, JJ was so freaked the fuck out by Ryan going off script that he decides to pull through McDonald's at 50 miles an hour and comes home with a box of 20-piece McNuggets. And he throws the McNuggets in your face and goes, "Is this okay? Is this okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the broccoli. I'm sorry. Here, have McNuggets." And JJ, I like McNuggets, but McNuggets are not a Thanksgiving dinner. And that's my Thanksgiving Star Wars analogy.
Even if they taste good, they make you want to throw up afterwards.
God, I want to throw up.
Me too. Thank you for
guys
listening
down?
to our Star Wars holiday special.
Well, now that that's done,
Spoilers for The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, The Force Awakens.
fuck you. They've all been out for years. If you haven't seen them
And to
already.
be perfectly honest, we didn't really spoil that much. Now
Yeah,
that
I don't
think
think we
about
talked
it.
about any specific things that happened in
Yeah.
Rise
The
of
pickle jar is the
Skywalker.
only thing.
Yeah, the pickle jar, and I made a vague allusion to unsatisfying familial ties.
What the fuck was that
What
noise?
the fuck was that noise?
That was weird.
I mean, it'll probably show up on the audio reading in the future. Man, it'd be funny if we just caught a ghost on the fucking podcast.
Ghost cast.
Of
I
Liam's
know, yeah.
haunted
We-
Twinkle,
are-
twinkle, little ghost.
We are near a haunted house,
in Liam's haunted car.
and Liam's car could get possessed by my haunted house.
Thanksgiving dinner.
I mean, I will
Thanksgiving
say,
ghosts.
to kind of transition into the next thing, kind of wrapping up the Star Wars bit about how JJ and Johnson kind of made two wholly separate movies, like the beginnings of them as well. It felt like there was such a long piece of time and so much information in between the second and third movie that just wasn't really there. I won't spoil it because I don't want to keep spoiling it, but that bit of direction just without any information prior, and you just kind of have to accept it, kind of makes you go, oh, we're gonna go here, and it kind of makes you have like, when you have the broccoli and then just get the chicken McNuggets, right? It really just has you go, man, this just tastes fucking different. With that said,
What the fuck did that mean?
I think he was implying how jarring it was.
thank you.
I gotta say though, that was not easy to follow, but I got you, Tomas.
Dude, and that's how the Star Wars trilogy felt.
Oh, it was a metaphor.
that said-
We'll fix it in post.
We won't.
He intentionally fucked up to teach us a lesson.
Oh boy. Something that I noticed after Tomas having just said that actually is the wild amount of time between the different Star Wars movies. Like there's 15 years between episode 1 and episode 2. There's 3 years before episode 2 and episode 3. There's 20 years between episode 3 and episode 4. There is 2 years between 4 and 5. 1 year between 5 and 6. I think 30 between 6 and 7. 20 minutes between 7 and 8. And between 8 and 9 is 1 year.
I like to think of the Star Wars movies as mockumentaries.
Why?
No, go ahead. Well, no, what? Come on, give me some.
Please, let's
Give
hear
me
the
some reasons.
punchline.
So anyway, we're gonna go on.
It's getting cut.
No, don't you dare cut that.
I'm cutting my
Don't
most
cut that, you coward.
embarrassing moment.
Oh.
All right, I won't cut it.
The victor goes to spoil.
Did you not have a punchline? What was that?
No, I didn't.
What the fuck?
So,
We
guys,
weren't gonna carry that.
so I was at work the other day.
I feel like we can't sing more than about 2
Tomas,
seconds.
you were going to have a topic?
I did, and it's kind of in the same vein of odd storytelling. So I've been watching some more musicals lately.
I'm sorry to cut you off before you
No,
start
you're not.
No, you're not, you fucking asshole.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be to say something mean to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway,
you just started speaking.
so I've been looking at a lot of
I'm like,
musicals
man,
lately.
I'm so excited for how
And
unintelligible
so
this is gonna be.
So I've been watching a lot of musicals lately, and a few of them that I've watched have been based on different movies that kind of came before it. And I know with a musical, they have to kind of alter it a little bit to go in some different directions. And one that really stood out to me was Shrek. Have you guys seen Shrek the musical?
I haven't.
I cannot say I have.
Isn't it just the plot of Shrek?
Kind of, but besides, because Shrek isn't a bad movie, and I think I just come from that time of being a kid watching Shrek and going, "This is so cool," and it's more
No,
nostalgic.
Shrek is good.
Yeah.
Shrek is like
Yeah, it's
legitimately
very
good.
Now, with that said, with that bias going in, they try to add in and take out certain elements of Shrek that just they don't really add anything interesting. So, for example, they have Lord Farquaad, right, as the main villain. And they say, okay, let's give him some character development. What if we gave him daddy issues? And we make the main point of Shrek, and Shrek and Fiona as well, and in Farquaad, daddy issues.
It's useful.
But is it? And that's kind of my question of today is like, when you go from like a genuine movie that you enjoy and then try to change it and really just kind of pull on it to be longer and to add different songs, does it really give it clarity? Does it give like the original movie like clarity? Or
Well, I mean, whenever I pull on it, it usually does get longer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm kind of with you on this, like, because in the movie he was just kind of a dickhead, so like that kind of works. Like if they had a song about him having daddy issues, and that's fine, but like the kind of the purity of him just being like kind of just a short asshole, like it kind of worked with the film because he's like, why is he doing this? Oh, he's a dick.
Lord Farquaad was the original short king.
Well, and I
Now
think
it's Tomas.
anyhow, the issue with Shrek.
you too.
The issue with Shrek
Mazel
now
tov.
is that Shrek and Fiona both also, as characters, also grew up with daddy issues. And I don't really understand why the writer of the musical really tried to push that direction so much. And I didn't see Elf the musical or anything either, but I don't know if you guys
Starring Elf.
Starring Elf himself. Elf on a Shelf. Did
Quick,
like
write more words.
You know what's interesting about that? Book writer doesn't make sense here, but you know what does? Playwright.
Anyway, continue, Tomas.
Oh no, it's okay. No, it's alright. I get when I'm not wanted to speak.
It's just when you're
we'll
talking about
tell you.
Garfield. It's just when you're talking about Garfield, Tomas. Every other time I love you.
I still think Garfield should be a musical. I'm just throwing that topic out.
You guys want to write it?
We could write it.
Hot take. Beetlejuice the musical is probably the musical that is the most try hard that I've ever heard. Like, Beetlejuice is trying so fucking hard to be quirky and like funny and cool, and it makes me feel gross, and I don't like it. And I know that two people are going to listen to this, and probably neither of them have much stakes in Beetlejuice the musical. But man, if a certain crowd heard that, I'd have to lock my doors at night.
They'll shoot you.
They will, with big black and white snakes. I've never actually seen Beetlejuice the movie.
Me neither.
I mean, like, I can kind of relate on that level of, like, seeing, like, a musical formed out of a movie you enjoy, and then just, why are they trying so hard? Like Shrek the Musical, right? To get back on Shrek, because this is really fucking me up.
Just come closer to the mic.
I'm as close as David is to the
Every
mic.
time
I
we
am
beckon
as
you
close.
Right, David
I am
also needs to come
literally-
closer.
Yeah.
For the record,
I'm
David also
literally the
needs to come
same
closer.
distance
And
David is from the
every
mic.
single time we beckon you to come closer, you just glance your eyes down at the microphone instead of actually moving your body
Because
at all.
I'm not gonna move closer. I'm fucking as close as my little ass is gonna get.
Just fucking scooch a little bit.
little ass.
All right, David, we gotta move up closer. Come on.
Don't
You know what?
touch me.
Oh no, we are lit. We are the same distance. We gotta get up and close. Get right in there. There we go.
If you can't kiss
So-
over the mic, you weren't close enough.
So I think Shrek, right?
This is better.
This is better. You're a fucking asshole. I'm gonna go back to my spot.
Don't. It was better.
I'm a little sick of adaptations of movies into musicals anyway. Think that most of them are just generally bad and kind of uncreative. For some reason, Mean Girls the musical has a big following. Everything that I've seen from it is vapid and bad.
I went to Broadway. Like I went to New York to see Lightning Thief like a week or two ago, and my sister's a big Heather's the Musical fan, and she was like, but it never made it to Broadway, so she was like looking into like all of these things have been declared better than Heather's. Yes, even Mean Girls, the play that copied it.
That's so bad.
But the thing with the Lightning Thief is that it also really focuses on the daddy issues of that book, which is interesting because, like, while they were there in the book, they really aren't there as much as they are in the musical. Like, they are very, very there in the musical. Like, they are. There's multiple songs about it.
I'd argue that that's because I'd argue that daddy issues has created more actors than most universities.
I mean that's a hot take, but probably there's definitely
As an actor, I can make actor jokes.
As an actor, he has daddy issues.
Hey, the only daddy issue... Never mind.
Did you real ass just come out with as an actor?
Yes, in the same way that I would say that, like, as a museum employee, I can make museum hot takes.
Paul, I gotta agree with you. I think sometimes they kind of force the daddy issue problem a little too much. There's other ways that a character could develop, and I think we gotta...
Name one. See, you can't. Cutting, mommy.
Don't you dare. Please let me be competent once.
So, kind of following my statement, because no one else has any topics.
Liam is a topic.
Does he?
Why would you fucking lie to the
Does he
audience
have?
like that? Why would you bold-faced lie to the audience knowing full well?
Hey.
This is the second episode in a row.
Can you get close to
I'm
the mic?
sorry.
You're kind of...
Liam's supposed
See-
to have a topic.
You're not really a
All
mouth.
right, we weren't planning on recording tonight, but it just happened to happen, and I don't have any good ideas, because I don't...
As usual. No, this one's really not doing Foley. You really did hit me.
Nice Foley work.
No, please, that was real.
Thanks, David.
Hey, actually, I feel like we've been in this car too long, and I think the carbon dioxide is starting to make us a little antsy.
That's really not how cars work.
I think it is.
This isn't sealed. It's not airtight.
Well, you know,
We aren't in a can.
have you
lagoon
fucking
right now.
never seen?
We could go underwater.
Have you,
And we'd be perfectly safe. You're right.
Until the carbon monoxide got us.
Yeah.
have you not seen any fucking news story about someone dying because they slept in their car?
Yeah, because they blocked off the fucking exhaust pipe. And
That's a
turned it
different
on.
fucking story. That's actually a suicide thing.
Yeah, it is.
Because
I'm not
they block
referring
off
to
the
it.
pipe.
I'm not referring to a suicide thing.
But cars aren't airtight unless you intentionally seal them.
Yes. Yes, you are correct. Hence why, David.
Hence why?
Hence why we cannot go underwater.
Yeah, Tomas. Yeah,
Therefore-
David, you idiot. This car isn't airtight.
Therefore, David.
Hentai, we cannot go underwater.
Hence why, you idiot.
That's why.
Checkmate, atheists.
Dude.
Got him.
Man, this podcast is terrible, but I'm so glad that we have it just to catalog all of Tomas's weird languagisms.
I don't think hence why is that bad.
Hence why is a little odd. Also,
No,
I
fucking
think
say it. No,
if you
fucking say it.
notice, if you go through some of the episodes, if we say a word that's relatively uncommon, Tomas will use that word 2 or 3 times throughout the episode. Like he will borrow that word for the rest of the podcast.
He's learning smarter every day over here.
He's a learning algorithm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tomas was an AI posing as a human.
Also, Tomas's use of the word theory just to mean anything like between idea, guess, thought, story.
Theory.
I think to push boundaries, you have to find boundaries. Fuck.
Hey, Tomas.
Yes.
I really liked it. I'm going to try to be nice to you now. Because we've been very mean to you over the past couple minutes.
Couple years.
A couple years even. I thought it was really funny when you sent that video in the group chat of you playing the Pornhub theme at the basketball game for your university.
I did. I go to school somewhere, and I hate it there a lot, and I play an instrument.
You're really
I'm gonna keep it as
you're
vague as
trying
possible.
so hard.
I play an instrument.
Instrument.
No,
Cut that.
cut it. No, but I do play music, and they asked me to come sit in with the pep band one day because I would never fucking join that band because it really is just a waste of my time, and not to sound cocky. And
As a
when I got
musician.
there, the drummer and I were like, "Man,
Which
this
is my favorite musical.
we're like, this is a really shitty time."
That was the King and I joke for you kids at home.
Really good one, too, if you ask me.
Fucking zinger, David.
I'm still laughing.
Boing!
Zinger, I hardly know her.
Zinger. My wife's boyfriend won't even let me zing her.
So yeah, I played the Pornhub theme. I'm gonna cut to the punchline. I'm just gonna fucking just wrap this one up. I think there's a lot of hot jokes in there that have been referenced from the others in this car that we should drink in more.
What sentence did you just say?
I kind of
Was that me?
We're gonna have to cut that out.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
keep-
no,
leave it,
cut
leave
that,
it.
no, cut that one, cut that one out.
No, legitimately. Was there an idea conveyed by that
I
sentence?
tried, and then I kind of got really tired, and it kind of fell off the
Man,
whack.
I really hope that some sort of government cryptologist listens to this and can help us decode.
Tomas speaks in Enigma.
While we're here, David, what's on the window that you just drew?
Dude, this is fucking...
An eggplant,
This is fucking...
What's that at the end?
oranges,
Oh, okay.
2 oranges.
Dude, this is my fucking mom's car. I'm just borrowing it because it's warmer.
This is my
I'll
mom's.
post an image of it to the Instagram.
This is my mom's car, man.
This is
I'm so
become-
afraid Liam's gonna hit me again.
This is a fucking nightmare. I feel like I never woke up this morning.
We've regressed.
Yeah. Our episode 2 is, look, practice makes perfect. We can't expect all of them to be snowmen.
And I don't think we need to necessarily be slinging bits 24/7.
right. I think that discussion is the bone of the podcast.
One more try.
Yeah,
One more try.
No,
we'll be quiet. We'll
I'm
be quiet for you. We'll
sticking
be quiet for
I'm
you.
sticking with this.
Discussion
is the bone of the podcast.
Amen.
And
New
goofs,
father, son.
and goofs are the meat. That's what I'm saying.
One thing I like when I'm eating food is to just eat the bones. The
No.
waiter brings me my food and I say, "Sir,
No.
there's not enough bone in this."
In this analogy, it's not the podcast isn't a food. It's like it's a being. It's an animal. And the two things that
animal?
you need
No,
are
no.
bone and meat.
We're the spit.
That's it.
Discussion's the bone. Goofs are the meat. We are the spit.
Now, I know you're referring to an animal. What animal comes to your head first when you're thinking of this podcast?
Is this just
What
any
is it? All right.
a gentleman?
Here, Liam, I'll give you a topic.
They're subhuman.
Here, Liam. Here's your topic.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone in this, say what animal you think everyone else in this car would be.
Well, Tomas, you can start us off.
Oh, okay. I thought Liam was gonna start. I'm sorry.
No, it's my topic. I don't start.
Well, all right, fine. Don't be an icebreaker. So I'd say David. See, that's kind of hard. I see David as a bird, but I want to go.
Disagree.
I want to go against my instinct. I think David's a zebra, and I can go into why, but I'm going to leave that for David to find out on his own.
I think we should all go around and say what animal David is.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I
agree with
think
that.
David is an antelope.
All right.
Just
a little
like-
too graceful for me.
Well, no, I don't mean in the way that, like, a graceful being that runs through the plains. I mean in the way that, like, you're prey.
Oh boy. Oh my.
I think David is a polar bear because he is not graceful, but he sure did break the ice last time by bringing up this topic.
Well, if we're being entirely honest here, David's an otter.
Hey. Hey.
Oh boy.
David, what animal is Liam?
Liam is.
I swear to fucking God if you all say giraffe, because he's tall. That's really funny.
Liam's a bowerbird.
I think
They go try hard to get puss every minute.
I think Liam's Jeff Goldblum's character from Earth Girls Are Easy. I think
Technically an animal.
it's technically an animal, right?
Technically an
I'm gonna
animal.
go with that. I think he's a little more exotic than we give him credit for, and I always walk away with more questions than answers.
All right, thank you, Tomas, for your animal. Jeff Goldblum's character from Earth Girls Are Easy.
Well, I think that he's Homer Simpson. I think he's a proboscis monkey.
That's fair.
Would you mind enlightening me?
It's the monkey that looks like it has a penis for a nose.
Follow
you're a
your
dickhead.
nose. All right, guys, what's Paul?
You know, like, those, like, the chihuahuas, right? The little dogs that shake all the time?
I'm familiar.
I think Paul, like...
Hey, no, wait. I'm fucking... the dogs that shake all the time?
Yeah.
Oh,
they
yeah,
like
they
shiver.
vibrate.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
They're not okay. They are in constant states of panic and pain.
I mean, my grandparents had a Chihuahua, and he never shivered. Like, maybe I just never noticed.
Yeah, they
That's
sort of
bizarre.
they're sort of permanently on vibrate.
That's really depressing.
They're always getting a call.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was.
That's what I see for Paul. Because if Paul gets below, like, if Paul goes into the water, like in a pool or the ocean, say, for more than 2 minutes, he'll start just fucking buzzing. Like, you can hear a tone. He's shivering so much because he has not an ounce of fat on his body,
I also turn blue.
as Chihuahuas do.
Yeah.
David, what animal is Paul?
Pass over me, Tomas. You go.
Oh shit! I wanted to
Passover. Tomas celebrates that.
So I gotta think for a minute because this one's actually really hard.
All right, we'll pass over you. Hey, David.
Oh boy, you just Uno reverse carded me. See, I think that this one's hard to get a good read on because
I get that.
I'm definitely gonna. Don't look at me. Don't look at me during this. I'm definitely. Let's eliminate this kingdom by kingdom. Can't go reptile.
No.
I feel like we can't go reptile.
Not Mushroom Kingdom.
Dude, fucking Hank.
Oh yeah, you would be an axolotl, wouldn't you? You would be an axolotl, dude. Great call. Paul's an axolotl.
Paul's specifically his axolotl, who is blind and can't find his own food, and also is a girl, but named Hank.
Nothing wrong with that.
We should have Hank on the podcast sometime. Does Hank
should.
make noises?
No. Splashing noises sometimes.
We'll record some Hank splashes for the podcast at some point.
I'm gonna go in a little bit of a different direction.
Left.
Yes, if you will. And now, while I see Paul as a smaller creature,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna kind of go against my gut and say I think Paul's a Dalmatian. I think he's a little underappreciated. I think I know because everyone thinks Dalmatians, well, they're part of the firefighter, blah blah blah. I think Paul has more value than that.
That's what everyone thinks.
But
yeah.
everyone is like, nah, but fucking this dog's over here. This is what the dog's supposed to do. And Paul's also a dog because he humps everything, and it's fucking uncomfortable.
He does. He's constantly humping things.
I certainly don't.
Episode 2, Paul be humping.
That's the title.
Episode 2, we talk about Paul's cum again. Also, as the only person who's kept himself pure here,
yeah.
I resent those remarks.
On the topic of Dalmatians, for arguably a breed in the top 5 most recognizable dog breeds, I'm not confident I've ever seen a Dalmatian in real life.
Yeah,
Really?
I've seen one precisely one time.
Yeah, like, have you guys actually seen a Dalmatian?
I think
Precisely one time.
I think maybe like once or twice.
Never.
Yeah, like, what's happening there?
They're really sick all the time.
Yeah,
like,
I was
they
about
are
to
not
say,
a good dog
they're
down.
not healthy. I know that, but like that's never been a reason not to breed dogs. Like there's arguably every dog that's smaller than like a sheepdog have permanent health problems all the time.
Same with any big one, too.
I mean, at least they're
Dysplasia,
marginally.
deafness.
At least you can like there can be things done to remedy that. The existence of smaller dogs is predicated on their pain. All right, Tomas? We didn't do
We haven't done
animal
Tomas
for,
yet.
right?
Paul, what animal is Tomas?
I think Tomas is an iguana.
Oh,
Because
okay.
when you first meet him, you're like, this guy's kind of scaly. Then you get to know him, he's like, well, he is scaly. I like him.
Oh, fuck!
That's fair.
You see, I think Tomas is an elephant. Because
Yeah,
Fat.
I mean, I was about to say it has to have mammary glands.
that wasn't what I was going for.
Ow, fuck! Oh, shit. Dude, that was an inch from my fucking jugular.
Nice Foley.
So elephant, how come?
Well, because, like, an elephant's like a...
Loud.
We're getting there. Elephant's a smart animal. Tomas is a smart guy. But, like, also, elephants can't, like, talk. Like, they have sounds and shit, but, like, I feel like Tomas also makes unintelligible trumpeting noises a lot.
Can we hear some trumpeting noise?
This is where Liam splices in actual elephant noises.
But I feel like you're also, like... I feel like you're a pygmy elephant, though. Because, like, I feel like you're easy to take down as well. And elephants, like, other than their thick skin, don't have any natural defenses. And I just feel like
Hey, you forget about tusks there for a second?
Well, like, no, but, like, as far as, like, their skin defends them from, like...
The sun?
No, like, from, like...
Guns?
Big cats.
And small cats.
The fuck?
And I just feel like Tomas, out of most of the people I know, would be the easiest person to kill.
Just wait 10 years.
Hey, that's...
I just feel like you're the closest to death, that's all.
That is not what you meant by that. You meant if I was to kill anyone, I know he's fucking easy.
I think that's technically the same sentiment that I just said.
But you're saying that I'm
Hey, you know
I
what they
see where
say,
you're coming
easy to Moss. So, David.
Man, this one's a little tough.
Don't forget about the glands.
You know, I'm gonna go against my own advice here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with an animal that doesn't have mammary glands. So I'm thinking fish a little for this one,
Okay.
or at least something ocean based. I think I'm gonna go with parrotfish. You ever see a parrotfish or a humphead wrasse? They're kind of closely related.
I don't really know much about fish. I'm sorry.
They loud. They grind their teeth and beaks to make sort of unintelligible noises.
You know, I hate it when I'm just like when I go to the doctor's office and they have that fish tank and the fish are just screaming. That's the worst thing. You hate a loud fish.
They sort of look angry. Yeah. It's hard to articulate, but you kids at home, do some investigation into parrotfish. You'll know what I mean.
Tomas, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up, Paul?
Do you grind your teeth? Do you grind your teeth in your sleep?
Yes.
It feels like something you would do. It feels on brand for you to be like, yeah, man, sorry, had to go to the dentist, grind my teeth too much.
Can I just ask how you tell that from a person?
You can. Tomas, you're able to ride a bike, right?
What the fuck? Yes, I can ride a bike.
But you're not very good at it, are you?
What the fuck?
Answer the question.
I'm alright. I used to be better. I'll give you credit.
He's forgotten, like riding a bike.
I'm not...
He's forgotten, like an elephant.
I'm not doing Tour de France, But I can get my way down the street. No, go ahead. What other descriptions do you think you got?
Well, like,
Got some fucking psychics in the car. Keep on going.
All right, so I think finally, what animal would the podcast be?
A dead one.
A dead horse.
man, love the idea of beating a dead horse in episode 2.
It would be a quagga, an extinct horse.
It'd be one of those lab rats that's so inbred it can't lift its arms anymore.
I think it would be a dog.
What kind?
Regular.
Regular dog. Original recipe dog.
Home style dog.
Home style.
Homemade.
I'm gonna back off Liam's and say I'm gonna go with this very specific dog. Rob, I said dog, not what I meant. Meant to say dog. with a G, excuse me. I think Robin Williams' Shaggy Dog, I think, best describes the podcast.
Not who is in that movie.
I think Robin Williams' interpretation of Shaggy Dog.
That was Tim Allen.
I think Robin Williams' interpretation.
It was a Tim Allen movie.
Yeah, but Robin Williams, you know what I mean?
You know what just snapped to my focus again? Tomas is just still barefoot. Like, I forgot about that for a really long time. Just talking, and I realize his just feet are on the ground.
Well, to go off Liam claiming that I have no natural defenses, I shouldn't wear shoes for too long, Paul. That's why I'm barefoot.
I have no idea what that means. But thank you for saying it.
I have an issue with my feet where they sweat too much,
Okay.
and so like I don't want to get too explicit.
Jesus.
But my feet.
I know that this isn't what you meant, but I like the idea that you're like, yeah, I kept on ruining my socks because I sweat too much, so I decided to sweat in Liam's car instead. While I saved the socks.
That's not what I meant.
I know, but
Be a good bit.
Oh my fucking god.
Well,
Yeah, it's time.
thank you for listening to our Star Wars holiday special, featuring guest acts, What Animal Are You, and embarrassing moments.
And I'd like to thank special
With a
guest.
hint of Garfield.
I'd like to thank special guest Tomas for coming on this episode.
Thank
that
you.
was
Yeah,
really
thank
nice
you
of
to
you.
Tomas. Thank you, Tomas.
Thank
I'm
you
gonna be so
much.
mad when Liam edits that, so we did it in one try.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
And he edits out this too.
No, I'm not. This is staying in.
Okay.
So as with how we have ended every single episode, let's go around and name our favorite Star Wars character. Paul, who are you going with?
Jabba the Hutt.
Liam.
Ayla Sakura.
Good call. Good call. Tomas, how about you?
I think Baby Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ooh, one that we haven't seen in the films. Is Baby Obi-Wan seen in maybe some novels or comics?
Oh no, it's all up in here.
Oh.
It's like Baby Yoda, but like
But
it's Obi-Wan Kenobi
But it's a
instead.
big fucking deal.
Oh, wow.
It's like Muppet Babies.
Haven't you seen the Twitter memes?
I haven't. Oh, wow.
Yeah, look them up when you get home.
I will.
They're really popular.
And as always, Qui-Gon Jinn. Stay twinkling.
All right, we did it, guys. Fuck. Huh? What the fuck was that? Bat.
I think. ¿Cómo estás?
Odie from Garden.
Is a good piece of pussy.